Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Kat, and for today we are going to be doing a little bit of a get ready with me story time type of video because as promised last week, I wanted to share with you guys a little bit of a story about what happened to me while I was in Las Vegas and how I am still unsure if I got scammed out of $4,000. So I'll let you guys be the judge. Let me know down in the comments down below as we're talking through this if you're just like, wow, you are the most gullible person in the world, or if you're like, hey, that was actually a pretty good deal. So I'm just gonna be doing my makeup, and I'll make sure that I toss down below all of the different products that I'm using, just so that way I don't have to like stop the story time to let you guys know what's going on my face, so you can just check down in the description as we go. Without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about Las Vegas. So I was there about 2 weeks ago for an educator conference for my job because I am an instructor, and so I went up there for about 5-ish days for this educator conference. And so the conference was at Caesar's Palace, and it was a pretty good conference. I enjoyed myself a good amount. Felt like it was worthwhile, but I have not been to Las Vegas since I was a kid. So imagine like the perspective of a child going to Las Vegas and having the security of your parents just dragging you everywhere. And so I didn't really experience the actuality that is Las Vegas. So that being said, I was perhaps not the personality type of someone that should be going to Las Vegas because I am fairly gullible. And so that's part of why all of this seemed to have happened, because I'm just all about having friendly conversations with people, and sometimes there are people that will take advantage of that. So, you know, it happens. So what had already kind of set the stage for me just completely getting rid of all of my money was that earlier in the day, I had decided to kind of tour around some of the different casinos. And so I was walking around and I noticed there were like a bunch of people in different types of costumes, and I was like, these people look amazing. And since I am someone that normally compliments people if I think they look nice, there were these two girls that were dressed up in like flamenco outfits. And so they had like these huge green feathers everywhere, and I thought they looked absolutely awesome. And so I just walked up to them and I'm like, you guys look amazing. And they were like, oh my god, thank you so much. Do you want a picture with us? And I was like, oh my god, really? That would be amazing. Are you sure? Oh yeah, we would love to take a picture with you. We even do some poses. And I was like, that's so cool. Really? So that was step one. And apparently they charge you for those photos. And I did not know that. So I'm like all excited getting these pictures with these girls. Here's one of the pictures. Pretty stance that we did and everything. And they were just looking really nifty in their outfits. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. And then they're like, yeah, our average rate is $100 per person. And I don't mean like per person in the picture with them. $100 per each of them. And I was like, what? I wasn't ready. And I'm like, first off, I don't carry that kind of cash on me. And she was like, oh, don't worry. We take like Venmo, PayPal, whatever you want. And I was like, oh, good. And because I don't like to seem rude and I'm very anti-confrontational, because I really hate it. And so any of the times where I've been pushed to confrontation in my life, I am very upset about it. And so in this case, I was like, I don't want to get into an argument. Like, they were already really nice and took the pictures with me. And so I was like, you know what? I don't think I can do that much, but I could maybe do like $40 a person. And they were like, that's fine. Thank you so much. And I'm just like, what if I'm like the one person that actually gave them money for these photos and they just say that they have a going rate to see how much they can get from you? So then I was talking with a friend of mine that lives there, and apparently, yeah. So like they're like hired on by some of the casinos and everything, and I was just like, well, poop. So that was already like setting the stage for me just giving all of my money away. Like, apparently some people gamble their money away in Vegas, some people drink their money away in Vegas. I just give it to people. You know, so probably not the best way to go about all of that, but it is what it is at this point, I guess. As I continued my journey around all of these different casinos, I saw more people in outfits, and I was like, all right, Catherine, if you say anything to any of these people that are dressed really cool, you're never gonna see the end of it. And so I convinced myself that I will never ever give anyone a compliment anymore if I am in Las Vegas, because I have no idea if they are going to charge me for said compliment. So that was kind of my way moving forward, which honestly was probably a good decision, because they had some people that were definitely dressed up in like really cool Avenger outfits and all kinds of other stuff, and then there were just these really ripped dudes where I was like, man, I want to get a picture like flexing with them. Don't do it, Kat, you're just gonna spend more money that you don't have. So yeah, that was great. But as I was touring around, I ended up at Paris, because I was like, I am sure that Paris will have at least one restaurant that has French food, and I am a sucker for French food. And so I was like, we're gonna go in there and we're gonna see what kind of French food they have. Maybe they have a cute perfume store. You know, in my mind, I'm just envisioning the same thing that you would see at like Walt Disney World's Epcot, like the World Showcase where it has all of the different countries on there. That's kind of what I was expecting Paris to be like. It's just a French version of that. And it sort of was inside. Like, they had, it was set up kind of like you were walking along the streets of Paris. And so they had like little street signs, and the Eiffel Tower was kind of built into the lobby of the casino, and so it was pretty cool to see the structure on there. So I thought it looked really, really nifty. And so as I was walking around, I happened to come upon a skincare slash makeup store, and since I do makeup, I was like, this looks kind of interesting. I've seen similar skincare stores in some of the other casinos, and I was like, you know, we could maybe check this out. And there was a girl that was standing at the front of the store, and she was like, oh, would you like a free sponge? So this is the sponge that I was given for free. I will be using this for literally eternity now, because it cost me $4,000. One free sponge cost me $4,000. So I'm like, sure, I could use a free sponge. Why not? So I take the sponge and I go inside, and she's like, well, if you would like, you can go back and talk to one of our associates, and he can give you a free skincare tester. And I was like, great. I am caring more about my skincare, because with all the makeup I do, I need to care more about how I am treating my skin when I don't have makeup on. And so I was like, that'd be perfect. Thank you so much. Again, shut up, Kat. Why do you always have to be so nice? So I go back to the associate, and he's like, oh, please have a sit. You know, we can take a look at your skin, see what kinds of issues we might have that maybe we have some products for. And I was like, oh, that'd be great. And of course, you know, in these types of stores, you're under like the world's harshest white light. And so you already literally look like you're half dead. And so I sit down, and he's like, okay, now don't take offense to this, but I do notice that you have like some discoloration under your eyes. You're starting to have, you know, a little bit of some fine lines around the corners of your eyes. And I was like, I don't take offense to that. Like, I'm getting older. Like, I'm gonna start having lines, and you know, I'm tired, I work hard, so I'm gonna have discoloration from lack of sleep or whatever. And so I was like, I don't take offense to that, that's fine. And he was like, perfect. She just gave me permission to just completely wreck her day. And so he proceeds to literally tell me all of the things that he sees wrong with the entirety of my face. So not just like, hey, you have some fine lines and maybe some slight discoloration. He's like, I'm noticing blackheads here, you've got some whiteheads over here, you've got some rosacea going on, even more fine lines. And I thought that my ego was like moderately normal going into that store. By the end of that conversation, I had no ego left. I was like, I must be the ugliest, just wretched looking person in the world, because he just tore my face to shreds. And I was like, touche, my guy, like, I guess that's how I look. Can you save me, I suppose, from my own face? So he's like, okay, so out of all of these things that I just listed off, what would you say is the thing that bothers you the most? And so I'm like, I guess around my eyes, because since I wear a lot of eye makeup, I was like, let's fix the eyes. You know, I like my eyes. So he was like, lovely. I have this cream that is gonna solve all your problems. And I'm like, oh, of course you do. Because why wouldn't you? So he proceeds to, on one half of my face, put this cream under my eye, and he's like, okay, this is gonna be amazing. It is going to change your life. And so he's like, I'm gonna speed up the drying process of this cream so that way you can immediately see what it looks like and what it has done as it is dry. Because the whole purpose of this cream is that it causes the muscles around your eyes to actually start to do something, so that way you don't lose that elasticity. And so I was like, oh, that sounds fun. So he puts it on, and then he pulls out this like little hand fan, very reminiscent of like the Nimya fan. It was just this little handheld thing, and he's just like holding it up to my eye, and I'm like, I'm not at all tearing up having you blast this air right at my eyeball. So as he's drying it off, I can legitimately feel it, like the whole side of my face is tightening up, and I'm like, oh, that's a little bit uncomfortable. And he's like, well, you put this on at night normally, and so you wouldn't feel it because you'll be asleep, because it's a night cream that will do this. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so we look at the final results, and my face has never looked so lopsided in my entire life. It was like the one side looked normal, the other side, legitimately, I looked like 15 years younger. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, there's no way that a cream actually does that. Like, that's a lie. It has to be a lie, because I was specifically told by other skincare experts that all creams actually take 3 to 4 weeks to do something. And so if you have something that does immediate results, it's a lie. And so I was like, this is a lie. It's not really happening. And yet, as I was looking at it, I'm just like, this looks amazing. And so I was like, wow, that's such a great result. And he's like, isn't it though? Let's talk about some of these other problems that you have while we're waiting for that to dry even more. So he proceeds to like go through like 3/4 of their product line that they have, including like, he's like, well, have you heard of blue light therapy? And I'm like, well, I've heard like, it's not like, studies haven't really proven that blue light therapy like helps all that much. And I was like, well, I know that red light therapy does something. He's like, I'm so glad you mentioned red light therapy, because guess what we also have, in addition to this blue light therapy thing that you think doesn't work, we also have a red light therapy thing that we can also play on to your, you know, whatever you want. And so I was like, oh, great. So he pulls out the red light therapy thing, and he's like, okay, we're gonna use this for like your smile lines, just to show you like how much it helps with the smile lines, with evening out the coloration of your skin, like all kinds of stuff. Also helps with pain. He's like, do you have any pain right now? And I was like, other than this conversation, my neck kind of bothers me. So he was like, okay, perfect. So he like holds the red light therapy thing on my neck, and after a couple minutes, he's like, how's it feeling? And I'm like, it does legitimately feel better. And so I know that red light therapy can legitimately help with like muscle pains and things like that, because a couple years ago, Rogue started hurting her back every so often by jumping on the bed too much, because she has a tendency to just launch herself from the bedroom door to the bed. And so I had to take her to the emergency vet a couple times because like she didn't want to walk. And they used a red light therapy tool on Rogue, which like within 2 sessions had completely solved the problem where she was back up and running. And so I do know that that works quite a bit. And so I was already prepared for it to help with that. But then he was using it on my face and I was like, huh, that actually kind of does help a little bit with the wrinkles. And given how bad my experience with filler went, I know some of you guys had watched my video on that disaster. For those of you that have not, I'll link it up there, but that went terribly. And so I was like, I will never do filler again. And so to have like a machine or a cream that is taking care of the things that I am most self-conscious about, I was like, this is perfect, because then I never have to go and get injections ever. So I was like, this is gonna be amazing. So then he's like, well, let me tell you about the price of these products. And I was just like, all right. And I'm preparing myself for like, for the cream for the under eyes, I'm like, okay, what's an expensive cream? I'm like, maybe it'll be around like $300 to $500 is what I was expecting. And no, it was $1,300 for that cream. And so that already was kind of like, what? I want to die. So after he told me that price, he was like, well, let me also tell you about the price of the red light therapy gun. Because if you choose to get the red light therapy gun, I will throw in the eye cream for free. And I was like, if he's willing to give me a $1,300 eye cream for free, I can only imagine how much this red light therapy thing is gonna cost me. So he tells me, he's like, okay, normally this goes for just under $6,000. And I was like, I'm gonna cry. I can't. I don't know who you think I am, but I'm not that person. I am just a lovely little military person. Like, I don't have that kind of money. And so I was like, look, man, like this, I can't afford that. Like, I can afford the eye cream, maybe, but I cannot afford all of that stuff together. And he's like, okay, now wait. I didn't tell you this yet, but in addition to giving you the eye cream for free, I will also give you several other products for free. And I was like, man, this is like a lot of money. I'm like, you could literally give me however many products you wanted to for free, and I'm like, I still can't afford like $7,000 for these 2 things. So he was like, well, you are in luck, because today is the last day of a plastic surgeon convention right here in Las Vegas. And I was like, you don't say. And he was like, so because this convention is going on, we will give you the convention rate for these products for today only. And I feel like whenever people say that, they're just like, oh, we're losing her. We gotta say something. Get her back with whatever. And so he was like, I will give you the discounted rate. And I'm like, well, what does that look like? Like what, a couple $100 off? That's still like $7,000. Like, it's still not good enough. So then he said, no, it's a very good rate. And then I will also use my own personal employee points to help take even more money off. And I was like, okay, cool. What are we talking about? As I'm like already close to crying because I'm like, I just want to leave. I'm like, I can't do this. So he's like, okay, I will give you the eye cream for free, which already, I'm just gonna start showing you guys these products so you can see what I'm dealing with. So this is the box for the eye cream. This is the name of the product. If you want to Google it yourself, you can. You slide this out, very bougie. I will 100% acknowledge that the packaging of all of the things that I got is just top shelf. Like, it is really good. So inside of there, we have what looks like an injectable. And it is not an injectable. You just take off the lid and then there's like this little squeegee thing and you just squeeze the cream out into your fingers and you pat it under your eye. So that is what this guy looks like. very pretty packaging. I will probably never throw these boxes or packaging away because it was so expensive. So clearly I did get that one. And so the other thing that did get me was because the red light therapy gun is something that I can use for Rogue, just because since I know that the vet clinic already uses that for her back, if I can save having to take her to the vet clinic, to me, that makes it worth it, because those vet visits are like already over $1,000 each. And so that to me was kind of already swaying me towards getting the red light therapy thing. So that is this guy that I got. And in case you're curious as to what it looks like, it is a space machine. So you have the Space Touch, which looks like this, and then these guys light up and turn red, and it has like its own little standy thing on here to help it charge, you know. So very sleek, pretty rose gold, again, packaging top notch. So I did pick up both of those things, and I can definitively say that this guy has already helped out with some of my stiffness in my neck and shoulders, especially from the driving. So I have not used it on my face yet, but I did use it on my neck and it helped. So this is the Vega Space Touch, in case you guys were curious about checking that out. In addition to those two things, he was like, I will give you quite a few other products. And I was like, sounds great. What are we talking about? And he was like, I will give you a year's supply of this product, which is the Pearl de Flor Overnight Silk Mask. And it's very, very pretty. This is the packaging, against a very nice box. And then when you open it up, it like kind of like a book, you have this beautiful glass bottle that has this stuff in here. And I have been using this. It's kind of interesting the way that it works is that like you put it on your fingers and you're supposed to rub it in circles on your skin until the whole entire cream turns into water droplets, and then you just press that into your skin. And so it's kind of a weird, almost like a science project type thing. So I like it. I don't know if it's actually doing anything yet, but I thought it was kind of nice. So he was like, I will throw in 4 of those. So I have 4 of them, which is apparently a year's supply. And he was like, okay, so I will give you all of those things and we will lump the price together and all you have to pay is $3,000. Yay, me. So of course, I'm like, I want to cry. But if you're giving me all of these things, which BT dubs, that overnight mask, that thing goes for $2,200 per bottle, and he gave me 4 of them. So almost $9,000 just for those 4, plus, you know, the over $1,000 for the eye cream and the thing. I have it all mapped, like I wrote it all down, all the prices, so I can give you guys the grand total at the very end of absolutely everything that I got, because if you think the story ends with me just buying these things, oh no, it does not. So I was like, I guess $3,000 sounds reasonable, because of course it does. So I'm like, I guess I'm convinced, I'll go ahead and purchase that. And he's like, I absolutely love it, you're gonna look amazing. And so he's like, let me go ahead and check you out real quick. So I'm like, great, I'm finally gonna have this nightmare end, and I'm only out $3,000. You know, only, it's fine. So after he was done checking me out, he calls over his friend that also works there. And he's like, this is Kat, she's amazing. You know, we were having all kinds of great conversations about wonderful things. Kat, let me introduce you to my coworker, this is blah blah. And I'm like, hi, please God, let this stop. And he was like, I just need to take care of this other lady over here. So while I'm talking to her, he's gonna show you some other stuff. And I'm like, no, please no. So he's like, yeah, just come right back over to the seat of death. And so I'm like, okay. So I walk back over with him to my chair where all my other crap is just sitting there. And he's like, okay, so I have this product that I want to show you. And I'm like, I don't want to see it. But I'm like, sure, let's see what this is. And he's like, this product is great. Do you like gold? And I'm like, this is gonna be so expensive. And I was like, I'm not much of a jewelry gal. Because of course that's what he's talking about. And he's like, well, this is jewelry for your face, so it's a little different. And I'm like, of course it is. Sure. Why not? What could this possibly be? And he's like, all right, I am going to show you on your hand first off, because you definitely need to do some exfoliating, because just like my partner said, I can see that you have many blackheads. And I'm like, yeah, okay, thank you so much. So he shows me this exfoliator and he's like, okay, now first I'm gonna show you on your left hand. Just put this facial moisturizer on your left hand. And I'm like rubbing it and he's like, you see, it is not sucking into your hand. And I'm like, I guess not. Like, I just started rubbing it in. And he's like, well, now I'll show you on your right hand. So he puts the exfoliator on my right hand. He's like rubbing it in and exfoliating my hand. And he's like, okay, now I'm gonna wipe it away. Now we put moisturizer on there. And he puts the moisturizer on. He's like, you see, immediately quenches your thirst. And I'm like, fantastic, thank you so much. My hand was looking dry. And so he's like, but we need to do this for your face, because the whole reason why your face, in addition to having all of this discoloration and all of these blackheads, and why it is combination, is that the moisturizer is not soaking into your face. And I'm like, okay, touche. He's like, so you need to be using this specific exfoliator much more frequently. And he's like, do you go out in the sun at all? And I'm like, I live in Arizona. And he's like, yes, but do you go out in the sun? And I'm like, I live in Arizona. It's impossible to exist in Arizona without seeing the sun. So I was like, I've been trying real hard not to be in the sun, but I'll wear a hat when I go out. And he's like, perfect. Okay, that's what we want to hear. That clearly you are caring about your skin, which is why I'm going to tell you about these products. Because if you didn't care about your skin, I wouldn't want to tell you about the products, because I know that you wouldn't use them. And I need for you to promise me right here and now that you will use these products that I am showing you. And I'm like, I can't afford the products you're showing me, so I can't make that promise. And he's like, now, let me show you first. And then we'll decide. We'll talk about price later, okay? Don't even worry about it. And I'm like, all right. I kind of gotta worry about it. I'm not a millionaire. So he shows me this gold mask thing on my face. He's like, okay, so this is a detoxifying mask that you put on your face, and it's very fun, very scientific, and it has 24 karat gold in it. And I'm like, okay, great, thanks so much. So he just uses it on one side of my face, because of course we want me to leave this store looking as absurd as humanly possible. So it's like the one side of my face is all perky looking, the other side of my face just looks like it's caked in mud from this 24 karat gold mask thing that he put on my face. It's perfect. I'm gonna leave the shop and everyone's gonna be amazed at my beauty. So he puts it on my face and he's like smooshing it in. He's like, now, the way that this works is that you use a magnet to pull the product up. You don't touch your face with the magnet. The magnet will just do the work. And like, I've seen some ads for other products that are kind of like similar to that, where they'll pull the the product will get pulled off of your face with the mag. I've seen people use some of those as like a trial thing or whatever on like TikTok and stuff. And so I've seen similar things, just not with 24 karat gold, obviously. So as he was using the magnet to pull the product off of my face, which was kind of cool to see, like I'll 100% acknowledge that. The way that the product worked was that because you weren't touching the face with like the magnet that was wrapped around a tissue, you could see it like pulling everything up, but somehow this gold remained on your face. So my face had gone from muddy looking to like I had just taken a gold highlighter and just gone plur. And so my entire face, that half of my face at least, was very, very shiny. And he was like, you see, the gold remains because it's expensive. We want it to stay on your face. And I'm like, that's great. I look stupid. Like, I get it that we want to make sure that we're getting the full use out of that gold, but at the same time, I can't go to work like this. Like, that's not gonna work. And he was like, no. So now what we do is, in order to really get it to do its job, we're not done yet, because this is a collection of products. It's not just the mask, because of course it's not. If it was just the mask, then I would only be out a little bit of money, but because it's a whole collection that's required to be purchased, I'm gonna be out a whole lot more. And so he's like, it's not just that. There are many products. So there's also this serum. And so after the gold is done and ready to go, you use this serum. So I don't know if you guys have seen like some of those bottles of Drano where it has like split down the middle and you've got one side has one type of product and then the other side has this other product, and you keep them separated until you're ready to use them. And then when you pour it down the drain, they mix together and create this other third thing, right? So the serum that he showed me was very similar to that. There were two different separate things that you then squeezed out of the tube and then put on your face, and that was how they like created this third concoction thing. So he puts that on my face, which does kind of help to blend out the gold a little bit, where it didn't look quite so ridiculous, but still like a little bit sparkly, I guess. And so he's like, so what do we think about that? And then the third product that comes in this collection is this moisturizer. And so if you're using the exfoliator, then you can use this moisturizer and it'll be great. It'll actually like soak into your skin and do something instead of just sitting there. And so he was like, okay, I'm gonna take a look and I'm gonna see what I can do for you on the price. Because normally the price for this is gonna be over $6,000. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not even playing. Like, I'm not gonna do this. I cannot afford that. And I was like, I am so sorry if I feel like I wasted your, if you feel like I wasted your time or whatever. I am not made of money, and I just spent $3,000 on these other products. I don't have another $6,000 to spend on these three things. I was like, however, I do like the exfoliator. I'll get the exfoliator for $500, because kill me. He's like, okay, well, just wait. Let me see what I can do here. Let me call over to the convention to my boss. Let me see what he might be willing to do for us. And I was like, I feel like there is not a single number that you could concoct with him where I am gonna be willing to say yes. Famous last words. So he calls up his supervisor that's over at the convention, and he's like, I have this lovely lady here, and she has already purchased $3,000 worth of stuff, you know, really showing that customer loyalty that's going on here. And he was like, is there anything we can do? She cannot afford the $6,000 that I would normally charge her for this. Which BT dubs, that $6,000 was already the convention rate. Because those three products are actually $13,000 put together. So I want to die. And so he was like, is there anything that we can do for her just to help her out, to give her a deal or something? You know, she's such an amazing girl. And he's like, has it on speakerphone as if like giving me compliments is just gonna somehow conjure up the money I don't have. And so he's like, please, is there anything that we can do to help her out? And his boss is like, let me get back to you. So as if they're really doing anything. Like, they know how much they can sell these things for. It's not like they're just doing whatever. So he comes back and he's like, we can do $3,000 for her. And I'm like, I don't have another $3,000 to spend. I don't know where you guys think like this money is coming from, but I don't have it. And so I'm like, I can't help you. Like, there's nothing to be done here. So he's like, well, just wait, Kat. Like, you've been so wonderful. Let me just see if there's literally anything else that we can do to try and drop that down even more. And I was like, look, I legitimately don't have that kind of money, but I would like to get the exfoliator, because you sold me on the exfoliator. So let me just get that and call it good there. So he's like, okay, I will I will just sell you the exfoliator. It's fine. You didn't waste my time. I'm not mad. It's almost like having like a parent talk to you where it's like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. And I'm like, I can't help you, I'm so sorry. I don't have the money. And so he rings it up, and then at that point, the other guy that was helping me out before is done helping his customer out. So he comes back over, and his friend lets him know, hey, she couldn't afford it, she didn't have the money. And he was like, what do you mean? Like, you couldn't get her a good enough deal? And the guy was like, I did what I could. And he's like, well, you call him back. You see what else you can do, because this is Kat. Like, she needs a better deal. And I'm like, let me leave. Please let me leave. So at that point, I was just like, it's okay. It's fine. I got the exfoliator. We're all good. And he's like, no, Kat, no. We need to see if we can do better. We can do better. So he like looks up how many employee points he has or whatever. And he's like, I will use all of my employee points for you. And we will see what we can do. And so he's like, we can drop it down to 1,500 and we'll include a bunch of other things for free again. And I was like, 1,500. So, well, I just bought the exfoliator, and initially you had said you would include the exfoliator for free with the gold stuff. So can you take what I just paid for the exfoliator off and make it 1,000? And they were like, let's call. So they called, and they're like, okay, we can do it for the 1,000. And I was like, okay, I will purchase the 24 karat gold collection for $1,000. So along with that collection, I got a whole bunch of other products. So I'm gonna show you those. So the first product up is the Micro Peel, which is from that same Rose brand. And it looks like this. Also, again, stunning glass bottle, and has like, it's a micro peel. So very nice, I guess. Oh, looks great, does a nice job. And so I got that, again, for free, since they gave me the $500 back. Then I got, which BT dubs, the exfoliator was, where do I have it? $300. And then I got a body cream, which only $50 for this body cream. What a steal. And then I also got these two, which are a body scrub and a body butter, which are only $70 each. $70 each for a body scrub and a body cream. And then we have the gold products. So let's start with the lotion. So it comes in this really beautiful gold box, because of course, if it's 24 karat gold, we need to have it. So then this is it that is in here. This truffle Paragold cream, very nice bottle, container thing, whatever the crap you want to call this, just sits in its little gold casket right there, you know? So that's the first thing. And that guy normally goes for $600. And then we have the serum, which comes in this container. I'll figure out how to get it out, because clearly I haven't used it yet. So it is a Paragold Truffle Duet. So of course it is. And this is what I mean with how it literally looks like the Drano, is you have like split down the middle, right? Two different products, and then we have two little things for like pouring the product out on top. So you like click them together, and then that gets put on top of what is remaining from the mask, I suppose. And then we have the mask itself, which is in this massive gold box. And, oh, and the serum is $5,500 normally. And then we have this right here, which is the entire thing that comes with the gold mask. So you have this special little dilly that has your spoon for like getting the product out and then smearing it all over your face. And then you have your special magnet, which they specifically said if I ever lose this magnet, to just let them know, because you can't use regular magnet. You can only use this special magnet. And then it also comes with several of these pad thingies for you to wrap the magnet in, so that way you're not using regular tissue, because oh no, we can't use regular tissue that we wrap around the not normal magnet. We have to use these special cloths. And then you have the mask itself, which I have not opened yet, nor do I want to open it, but it is a muddy mess in here until you use the magnet, and then your face is just straight gold. And it is this grungy gold, so it's not like a light gold, it's grungy gold. But that's why I went with a little bit more of a grungy goldish green look for today, in honor of the 24 karat gold products that I got. So that final mask normally costs $6,900. Now they do have a special deal when you want to get these things, where if you get all three of them together, you can save some money, because you can pay only $13,000 for all of it together, which they make you think is like you're saving money, but when you do the math, you're not. It's the same amount. But that is all of the products that I got. So I ended up getting like 10-ish things, and I paid as a grand total $4,000 for all of it together. So let me tell you what the grand total for all of these products would normally be. If you were to just pay for all of these products at their normal rate, you would be paying $29,290. Gross. So I got it all for $4,000, which I feel like great. You know, even if none of the skincare works, the red light therapy gun will at least be worth it, because I can definitely still use that for like aches and pains, and for Rogue whenever she hurts her back, because it's like a once a year thing. And so I feel like that did kind of pay for itself, but I'm like on the fence on whether I actually want this thing to work or not, because there's a part of me that is like, what if it does work? And I'm like, I absolutely love these products. I can't live without them. I don't have just under $30,000 to be spending every year on all of this stuff. That's like, that's a year's worth of down payments on like a house. Like, that's absurd. And so there's that part of me that's like, man, I really hope it doesn't work, you know, just so I can be like, chalk it up for a loss, whatever, it's fine. Because I am far more worried if it does work. Because then I'm gonna be like, oh, they got me for way more than $4,000, because now I have to get more. So yeah, that's my story on, you know, just getting suckered while I was in Vegas. But I would love to know what you guys think of everything. How do you like the makeup look now that it's all on there? What do you think of the story in general? What are your thoughts? Did I get scammed, or was it a good deal? I would love to know from all of you guys, and we'll just we'll poll all the comments at the end and see if the majority of you guys say that I got scammed, we'll call it a scam. If you say that it was a good deal, I'll chalk it up as a good deal. I'll let you guys be the deciding vote, because I'm still on the fence. But give me a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you did not. And if you made it to the end of the video and you have not yet subscribed, I would love it if you would join my family here on YouTube. We talk a ton about makeup. We do really colorful makeup. We talk about indie brands. I swatch stuff normally if I'm not telling stories. And if that sounds like fun, I would love it if you would subscribe. Come join us down in the comments down below. We talk a whole lot of talk about makeup, and that's about it for today. I am just exhausted reliving that entire thing. So I hope you guys just go have a good one.